Hello everyone. After watching this particular video, I'm very sure you will be very much confident about AJAX. So let's see what are the steps you have to do in context to the AJAX implementation in Django. First thing first, come to your project. My project name is user import and come into the settings.py. So once I come over here, what are the things I have done? I have a template folder. So for that reason, I have to give a call to OS module. Let me come down, and over here we are giving a call to the template directory so that the HTML page can be rendered. As I get a little bit bottom, here we have to do this particular configuration. By default, you will always find static URL is given, but this leading slash is not there. I applied that, and I have to create a folder called static, and for that reason we have to write static files_dirs. And this particular folder is present inside the base_dir, which is a variable that points the location where my project is. So inside this project folder I have the static. So this is a small configuration that is required to do. Once you have done this, now we are good to start with. So inside my template, what I have done, I have created one HTML page called index.html. So if I open this, you will find over here I have given a call to the serial link of jQuery. Unless and until you don't apply this jQuery, you will not be able to make use of AJAX because it is not present in the default browser. So for that reason you have to apply the serial link. And okay, let me first run the project to see how exactly it looks like. Here it is. So let me close the console application. So as I hit the enter, you will see over here I have a nav bar. So for that reason I have applied over here a file in the form of ginger template tag include. So with the help of include, what you can do is that you can go and apply an external file, and here is my navbar.html. This particular code I have taken it from the getbootstrap.com under the navbar section. So what this code is basically doing, if I come to the browser, you see the extended form of the window. You don't find any hamburger icon over here. But if I make it, if the window size reduces the width, so let me give a call to inspect, and now see, if I keep it like this, there is no hamburger over here, but if I make it more smaller, you find the hamburger icon. So this icon has to be generated by the nav bar. So for that reason we have over here the nav bar, and once I click on the hamburger icon, that it should toggle, the menu should get open. So for that reason you will find over here, as I click on this, the drop down menu comes where I have an option called add, and if this hamburger icon is not there, you will find the add is sitting right beside the home icon. So for that reason we have to give a call to the nav bar so that we have this collapsing feature of the nav bar. So now when the user will click on the add, we are going to give a call to the URL call add, and for that reason we have to come to our project urls.py. So let me so before I switch to Python, so this is my navbar file that I have added over here in form of include. And over here we have a block content where the content of the add.html will be embedded. Okay, so that's what the thing is. And since we are using bootstrap, so here also we have to give a bootstrap invocation of JavaScript and a bootstrap invocation of CSS. We need to do it. Okay, so let's move to the urls.py now. So here, this is my project. This is a project urls.py. So here what we have got, I have got a app over here by the name called stream app, right? So inside my settings of the install app, you will find over here I have given a call to stream app. The folder name, inside that we have a file called apps right over here, and it has a class called app stream config. So that's what we have given a call over here. So if you see over here, what I'm doing is that I'm giving a call to my stream app. Inside the view I've written one empty route. So let me take you over there, and let's open this view over here. And even before that, yeah, here it is. Let me split the screen. Great. So that means, and let me open the urls. Okay, this is giving a call directly. So stream app, inside that you have a view.py which we are writing over here, and inside that we have a function called home. So let me close this. So right now we are focusing on this particular function, because of which it is rendering the index.html, and eventually I'm seeing this particular page right over here. Okay, that's the reason why we have giving a call to this function based view. So once the user clicks on the add button, so that will give a call to the add route, and eventually will come up to the stream.urls app. So here we are. Let me split the screen also. So this is how the thing goes now. So we are going to redirect to this particular route, which is again an empty route. So just we will be having localhost /1000/add/ and then we will come to this route, and eventually it will give a call to add stream. All right. So let me close this, and now the control comes right over here, and what we see, well, first we see the request.get method, and whereby the inside the stream folder, inside my template, I have a stream folder where my add.html is present, that is getting called. So let's come and let's see what is there in this particular file. Okay, so this is the file that we can see right over here. So let me click in the browser as well. So as I click on the browser now, and here we get to see the HTML template, right? So we have got couple of text box and a button. So let's come to the VS Code. As we can see, this is going to be a form submission. So for that reason, post is there. We need to have a CSRF token because we are going to submit this data to Django server. And over here we have an empty, this is a label for display this message, that is first number, and beneath that we have a text box. Look over here, I have gone for the ID as first name will be used by JavaScript, and this is going to be referred by Python name. Okay, so this is the empty a text box I have created. Well, I also have got one div for the error validation part. I have not done yet. I will do it in my upcoming video. Then I will be using this particular div tag. The same goes for my second text box. This is the label. This is a text box where I have given the ID as second num, and this is the empty div tag for the error part. Now when the user will click on the submit button, what we are going to do, here comes the implementation of jQuery AJAX, and we also have, and the form ends over here, and we also have one empty div tag in the form of acknowledgement that will display the result. Right now there is no data present inside this div tag. So when the user will click on the submit button, it will give a call to my AJAX. So let's move on to AJAX part now. Okay, let me close all this URL tab, and here we are, so that we have got enough space. So we come to my static, and inside the static we have got the script.js. By the way, this file also we have to add it in my index.html. Look over here, I've given a call to the static, and js is the folder name, and script.js is the file name, and this static we have already registered inside the settings.py, right? So control comes right over here now, and let me open this file. Yes, okay, great. This is what my AJAX implementation is. Well, if you scroll down a bit, you will find over here I have also gone for the fetch implementation. We'll come to this part little later on. Let me first talk about this one. Well, since we have already given a call to your jQuery right over here, so that means document. By the way, the dollar symbolize that we are working on jQuery, and over here we have a document.ready function get called immediately when the index.html page got rendered. So for that reason we can see this particular line directly in the console. So let's come over here, and let me get back to my home tab. If I come to my console, you will find jQuery running. Let me clear this once again, and let me hit the enter. See, the jQuery is running, is been shown immediately after the page gets loaded in the browser, and that's what document.ready takes care about. But look over here, the add functionalities did not get executed because the user is yet to click on the add button, right? So when the user will click on this add, and let me fill the form over here, and then I will click on this add button. So just now what we saw in our HTML, that let me close this, we have a button called ID as BT and add, so that will be executed. So the event handling will take place right over here, and that event is called click event. Again, we are working on jQuery, dollar is there. We are using the button ID, so ID will be represented by hash, and we are given the name of the button. So once the user clicks the button, we will give a call to our anonymous function, and this entire body is under the execution part. Since we are going to give a call to AJAX, and for that reason the page reload won't take place, so event.prevent default ensure that. So unless and until I don't click on this button, I will not see this button click in the console, right? So now after I fill the form, and then I will see this particular option being shown. Okay, before that, let me do one thing. In my DOM, I have ID, first name, I have ID, second name, and there is also here as a token. I need to collect all these three. So with the help of jQuery, with the help of ID, I'm identifying the div tag first name, and then I'm picking the value with the help of val function, and then I'm storing in the variable. Same thing I'm doing with the help of jQuery, with the help of ID, I'm collecting the second DOM element. Once identified, and then I give a call to the val function so that I pick the value given by the user and store it inside this variable. In case of middleware, this is what we have to do, and the value is, which is their dynamic in the middleware, that will store right over here. If you want to go for console log, you can do what input you have given, that will be shown. Now let's come to the AJAX implementation. So dollar, again jQuery giving a call to AJAX, and here is my entire segment of my AJAX. So the first three keys will be executed. So we're going to give a call to URL, and that is called /add URL. So /add means we are giving a call to this particular add stream, because if you come to the URL over here, this is an empty route, but if we come to the project URL, we have over here the add. So basically we are giving a call to this particular view. So let me split this, and let's come over here now. So what we are doing, we are giving a call to this particular route, perfect, and the route that came in the form of post method. So this request is now true. We are passing our key value pair in the form of key as a first name, and this is the value which is my variable that holds the user input. So first name will be handed over here, the second num will be handed over here. Sorry, it's not a first name, it's first num. So request.post.get is going to collect the first num that came from AJAX, and since it's a numeric value, so we will go for typecasting, and then we'll store it inside the first num variable. Second thing we are doing again for the second div tag, so here we pick up the key from the request.post.get. So this request parameter is going to carry all this information, and that's what we are seeing over here, and then we are doing the typecasting, and we are storing it inside this particular variable, right? And middleware is also there. Fine. So once we have completed this particular segment, the control is right now executing this particular part, and that's where we basically call asynchronous communication, because our sequential flow actually gets restricted. So AJAX will wait until this segment doesn't complete the work, and it will send the data which AJAX will receive, and they will carry forward. Exactly the same thing we are going to do in case of fetch operation as well. But the difference between AJAX and fetch is that the fetch is actually built-in JavaScript API call, so we don't have to give a call to the CDN, which I did in case of index.html. The CDN is not required as we are going for fetch API call. Remember this, it's a built-in. Whereas in case of AJAX, we have to give a call to the CDN. So it's because it's not a part of the jQuery library. I mean, the jQuery library is not a part of the JavaScript. So for that reason, CDN call has to be there. Okay. So we calculate the result in the form of summation, and then what we did, okay, I forgot to put over here colon in, this also needed, yes, great. So now what we are going to do is that we are going to pass the value to the front end, I mean AJAX. Since AJAX is going to accept data in the form of JSON, so for that reason we are sending a JSON response over here. Please see very minutely, we are not returning only any HTTP response, we are not doing, because we are going to send this JSON to AJAX, and AJAX will be responsible to show the result in our HTML in the empty div tag which we have created. Remember, there was an empty div tag over here, so here the data will be rendered. So we are passing the JSON. Great. So what we are doing over here, we have given a call to JSON response from the Django.http. It's a form of key value pair. So this is my key, this is the value, key value, and key value. But take a note over here, the key is wrapped within single quote. So although we are sending JSON, but when success will receive this, it's basically going to receive a JSON text, right? It's going to receive a JSON text. Nonetheless, so this entire thing will come to the success part. Success is giving a call to anonymous function again, and this whole thing will be received in this particular response. Well, what I have done is that I have removed the value given by the user in the first num and the second num text box. So for that reason, I've given a call to the val. So whatever value was there inside this particular DOM element, I mean this particular HTML page, the user whatever input will be given, that I'm clearing off because I don't want to keep them. If you want to keep them, then don't write these 2 lines. Okay, great. And now we have to display our data in the div tag, which is the empty div tag, which is called acknowledgement, right? So that's the reason why I'm doing over here. Again, I'm using jQuery. I'm identifying with the ID tag. Here the ID is acknowledgement, and that's what I wrote. Since it has to show the data, so I'm giving a call to the method called text, and this has to generate the data dynamically. So I'm using the backtick over here. Remember this backtick, what we are using over here. Just a second. Yeah. The backtick is there because we are going to display the value of the that is coming from the JsonResponse, right? So inside the response, the first num is there. So response.firstNum will show me what input I have given as the first number. JSON is going to hold the response for second. So for again dollar, we are going to give a call to second number, and the final result what we have got, that also we are going to print. So that's the reason we have to write it within the backtick. And since there is no error, so this particular segment is not going to work. Fine, great. So let's run the code once and see how the output is going to work. But before I do that, I want to bring you to the network tab. And over here, let me clear all this thing. Please click on this all button. Okay, I will be showing you something very interesting. So now I hit the enter. As I do that, you get to see what I'm giving a call to the route called add, and the page got loaded successfully, so it is status. And this is what type of document is this? This is the document called, it's a type of document. So for that reason, always you will see in the jQuery, we always make use of document. Not only that, in the fetch, we will always use document. So this document is actually represented by this particular type. That means this particular page which got opened right now in front of you is actually of type document. That's the reason we always call it as a document. Okay, remember this, right? And then I'm going to fill the form and click on submit button, and I will remove this part so that I want to show you what happened after I click on submit button. So I give the value 11 and I give the value 12, and now when I'm going to click on the button, what is going to happen now is going to give a call to AJAX, right? So once I do that, AJAX get called, AJAX will pass the data. Okay, let me show you graphically what is happening. So once the user clicks on the button, JavaScript will give a call to AJAX, and this is of type XHR, XML Hypertext Markup Protocol. That's the full form of HTTP Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and request. So in short, we see is an XHR. So JavaScript AJAX is in form of XHR. The data goes to the Django server /add/, it calculates, it gets the result, and it returns a JSON, and JavaScript is supposed to update the page. So that's the reason why this is XHR. Why I'm saying this thing, because now I click on this, immediately you see it's giving a call to add, and that's what you saw just now. So this add is your Django server, and the way it has been invoked, it is called XHR because it give a call to the AJAX. And this is a very important point. You need to take a note of this, because when I will go for fetch, you will see something very different over there. People use fetch but without understanding the difference. Okay, so XHTML, you saw this is XHR, represents the extended markup language, represents AJAX, because AJAX full form is asynchronous JavaScript using extended markup language. So it's an XHR, and you got to see the value, and see over here the input which I given initially got removed because of these 2 lines. Okay, if you comment them, then the value will stay back over here. I believe whatever I've said so far is fair enough to understand about AJAX. Now I want to extend this particular program a little bit farther, because this time I'm going to comment this entire AJAX call, and I'm going to uncomment my fetch over here to show you that hardly there's any difference between AJAX and fetch. Okay, so this is what my code goes now. So let me clear the screen again. Okay, great. Let me clear the cache as well. And just a second, hold on please, and it's done. Great. So let me remove this, and let's press enter one more time to load the page. Again, see, till now the document is getting loaded. So this HTML page is actually document. Remember this, slash data slash add. This is the HTML page which is of the type document. And although jQuery is there, but after all, jQuery will not be used. Now we are going to invoke what? We are going to invoke fetch. So we saw already document because we saw document over here. So document dot add event listener. We are loading the DOM content and we are giving a call to the asynchronous anonymous function. So add event listener is taking a couple of arguments. The first, the DOM creation loaded. The whole DOM got loaded in the browser, and now we are giving a call to anonymous function. Again, the console log, we can go and check in the browser. Console log, you will find that JavaScript running. This line is coming because of this particular statement. This time there is no AJAX involved. Well, this part will not work until and unless the user don't click on the button. So when the user clicks on the button, before that you have to identify the button. So for that reason, in the document which you have loaded right over here, inside this document, we have a DOM element called button btn add, which we already saw in my code. Inside this, we have a button add, that what we are identifying. So once the DOM gets identified, we are giving a call to the event listener, that is add event listener, that is a click, which we already saw over here. Say click. So you can see, in comparison to AJAX, don't you find this particular code is pretty lengthy, right? But over here, see, it's very neat and clean. The only difference is that AJAX, you have to give a call to the CDN separately. As our fetch is concerned, you don't have to do it. Okay, great. So then you are giving a call again to the event listener, and now what we are doing, we are stopping the loading of the page, which we have to do it in AJAX as well. And then we are identifying the individual DOM element, get element by ID, the first name. See, we are using the value keyword attribute over here, whereas we use the method over here as far as getting the value. See, this task statement is pretty lengthy when compared to this one. It's much more compact. So first num, second num, and CSRF token we all have collected. That what we have to do it, right? Now what we have to do, I have to pass the data. When we did it through AJAX, we just wrap it within an object, but in case of fetch, we have to give a call to the form data. Remember, this form data will also be used for uploading image as well. So inside the form data, we are appending in the form of key value pairs, the first name, second num, and CSRF token, like what we did right over here. But this code is again a very compact statement. And now we are giving a call to the fetch, which is equivalent to AJAX. We are giving a call to the /add/route. So over here we did it through URL, great. And then what we are doing, the method is actually post, which here also we did method is post, and we are passing this entire body of data, and here also we did that body in the form of form data. So once this particular segment get executed, the control will come right over here. That means this rest of the part will actually be restricted until and unless the response doesn't comes back. So here is where the asynchronous communication gets in picture, right? So now what I will do is that I will run this code once again, and I will show you something very interesting. So let me clear this, and let's hope, and let me give the data over here 22 and 33. Remember, this will get removed when the message comes in. I click on the add button. The moment I do that, great. Please take a note over here. When I made use of AJAX, it was showing XHR because it was using AJAX, and this time I'm using fetch, which is a built-in JavaScript API. You don't have to go for any kind of extra CDN, so it shows fetch over here. So the type denotes what type of mechanism you are using for sending data from the front to the backend. Either it will be XHR or else it's going to be fetch. Got it? So this is something very important. Please take a note of this. So the data came over here, we perform this entire operation, and again it is going to send JsonResponse. So that means either you use fetch or whether you use asynchronous, AJAX, the backend remains untouched. We are not doing anything. So we're sending JSONResponse, but this JSONResponse again is from a key value pair, and please take a note, it is in the form of text. So once it comes over here, we have to go for .then. Many a time this question has been asked to the student that why are we doing this .then? Please get the answer now. The answer is we have to convert this JSON text into actual JSON format so that this single quote doesn't remains. Yes, you rightly heard, this particular JSON response has been forwarded to this particular parameter, and it's an arrow operator is there, so single line is there. So that is again passed over here, and we have used just .json press close. So initially the data that was received was in form of JSON text, and finally it got converted to JSON. That means these two quotation result, quotation first name, footage quotation, second num, this quote will be removed and we'll get a raw JSON. Once we have done that, so it's like a chaining going on, chain. After we have completed that, the fresh data, which is actually JSON format, is now passed on to this particular data parameter, or data parameter receiving that. So this is the outgoing data and this is the incoming data, so it receives that. And since we have a multi-line, so now we have got the curly bracket over here. So what I'm doing, what I did initially, see, I removed the value of first num, second num, that's what I'm doing. So it's a pretty lengthy statement compared to this one. You decide which one you will be using. I don't have any problem, either you give a call to fetch or AJAX, but see over here, this much you have to take care. Again, document element by ID, you have to identify dot value, and the value is now going to be a blank text for first num and second num. And now we are going to display the data in my empty div tag, which I have done right over here, and that's what I'm doing. Again, you find out the acknowledgement and dot inner text. Over here we made a call to text function because we are giving a call to jQuery, and over here we have an attribute called inner.html, inner.text. So here we are going to dump the backtick, the whatever I have done over here, also same thing I'm doing over here. So initially the data came to the response, and over here we have what inside the data. So the response is now the data dot first num, data dot second num, and the data dot result got executed. So this then part got executed and the catch did not happen. So there can be multiple then. Okay, just remember, just understand this then is working like a success part over here. Got it? And if there was an error, then this would have been fired. Okay, so now let's run the code with this particular thing got executed. See over here we have got the value 22 plus which is 55, and the output came in context to fetch as well. So in short, in this particular program, I've shown you both the approaches, one by using fetch, which is built in JavaScript, and the other one is using AJAX. Got it? And the overall flow remains the same as of the backend is concerned. With that, I come to the end of this particular video. I believe this will be helpful for you all. Make sure you go through this particular video once again, and you decide which one you will be implementing, either jQuery AJAX or built-in fetch function. Take care. Bye-bye.